is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No. Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Kelly's over there laughing, so I'm about to start laughing. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Al looks very much like a safari guide.
Yeah, and there's been some jokes this morning. Our co-host Sam said I look like an accounts manager at Sprouts. And you know, I like Sprouts, and they have good veggies. So we're going to do the show.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we can go to a light note because we have to go to something a little heavier. It looks like Stephen Twitch boss wrote his last words. According to TMZ, police found a suicide note at the scene, and sources say the note contained vague references to challenges he had been dealing with, but it was unclear exactly what they were. Some say Twitch lost his life savings, but sources are saying that's not true. Meanwhile, more tributes are coming in for Twitch, with the most recent being a powerful video from Tyler Perry. He took to Instagram yesterday to share his own experiences with suicide. Take a look.
It was so dark, I didn't think it would get any better. I had endured so much pain, so much abuse, sexual abuse. It was all so hard to just move through that I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is to end my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
I was so shocked by this because you think everybody like Tyler Perry has everything. Like, what else could you want? But he wasn't so miserable and unhappy and mentally challenged with some mental issues that he was that uncomfortable that he contemplated suicide. And that's so scary to me. Yeah. But I'm happy to hear his perspective from the other side. What did you think when you heard this?
You know, it's so weird. I was at Home Depot this morning. As
Why
you know.
Are you always at Home Depot?
I love Home Depot. Today I had to get some rocks from my front yard. I talked with a person at the front, and we were talking about Tyler Perry and what an incredible human being he was, because they'd seen him on our show. And it just goes to show you, when we first did the story about Twitch, I thought about, I can't name the source in which I read it, so I'm weird about saying his name, but a famous rapper to which my LLC is named after tried to kill himself, and just the gun jammed. And that was the only thing that kept one of the most famous rappers alive, still alive. People, no matter where they are in their life, we are always at the brink. And when you reach incredible highs like that, if the ceiling's that high, the floor is that low. So you have to remember that. And I hope everybody knows, if you can just get through that day, call your friend, call Tori, and just talk about anything else. Just get through that hour, get through that next half hour, and give yourself a reason to live. And that's why I'm so worried about people having guns, because everybody's going to hit that floor at some point. And I'm just scared we'll be doing another story like this.
Yeah, wow.
Wow, thank you for that. I look at Tyler Perry and I really understand. There was a part where he said the pain is the past, where in order to get to the next level, you have to go through some things. And for all of us, we've all gone through things, whether we felt like this was the end for us or this was just another transition. And when things are piled on you, like I talk about my setback season, I just look at everything so differently now. Like anytime there's a trial or an obstacle or a tribulation, I'm like, what is this going to do for me in this next chapter? Because the truth is, and I'm not saying this in a trivial term, and it's not 100% directed towards the Twitch story, but it's just in general. If I can't handle this situation in this chapter, there is no way that I'll be able to handle this situation when there's more in a greater chapter. So when I look at life like that, it does help with my mental health, because there was a time when my life was very much in peril because I didn't think that I was going to get through that chapter of my life. So when you think about your mindset and changing your thinking, of course therapy, and of course medication, and of course all of these things, but also combined with that, it's a change of mindset. And when Tyler said that, some people are very much going to understand that, and some people are going to soon understand that. And give yourself a chance to understand that soon.
And it's so important to check on your friends, especially now that we're hitting the holiday season.
Yes.
Just check on everybody.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move subjects a little bit. Is Prince Harry a traitor? According to Piers Morgan, you know, he's the expert on everything. Take a look.
It's all apparently a dark plot by Britain and the royals to smear the poor, defenceless, vulnerable Sussexes. Trickery, treachery, hypocrisy. And if there's one conclusion to draw from the final instalment of their Netflix series, it's that Prince Harry surely is now a traitor to the country that he once served.
Okay, Piers goes on to say that Harry and Meghan's documentary didn't give any evidence that the royals were racist to the couple. Meanwhile, there are also reports that King Charles is being advised against inviting Harry and Meghan to his coronation in May. Royal experts say that if the couple attends, they will likely be greeted with boos, a sea of boos from the crowd. Okay, let's just go ahead, Erica. Just go.
Why does Piers look like he's speaking from a high school debate team?
I think that's when you walk off of your set. That's where you walk into.
What? And I feel like he's going to say, and in conclusion, I'm just going to say to people, don't believe the hype, but I don't believe that many people need to be told that. Tori and I have been following this documentary quite closely.
Very closely.
And we have the conversation about the amount of people who really have narrated this entire experience for Harry and Meghan, and it's only 82 accounts.
Yeah. It's crazy. This is crazy, you guys. We learned from the last three. By the way, check out our podcast, Come Back with Erica Cobb. We learned from the last three that they did, Bot Sentinel did a study, and they found that 70% of the hatred against Meghan Markle, particularly the racist and horrible accounts, all 70% of it came from only 83 accounts, and it reached 17 million people.
Wow.
These same 83 accounts, and they were talking and they were organized. So when I hear sea of boos, he's so dead wrong. The hatred doesn't match the people in England.
But Tori, must we remember who was at the center of those 83 people?
What's her name? The half-sister?
Samantha Markle.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm like, this is
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way you announce a crime on Studio 3. Yeah, that was amazing.
But don't you guys think?
Good job, Eric.
I think a lot of what Stephanie Jones was saying this whole week was that show the receipts of who exactly was racist. I think, like, as a mom, anybody saying anything about my kid, the level of energy I have for you is totally different than even if you said something about me. So I want to know who was in the family. Okay, they're probably not going to go to the coronation. Obviously, it's not the best relationship of all time that they're having with their family right now. But if you're going to release a whole documentary and you release that on Oprah, one of the biggest
I saw that. However,
of all time.
I went back to Oprah and I watched, and Harry clearly states, I will never reveal that conversation. I will never share
that particular conversation.
That one conversation.
But that conversation is only 1% of everything that has been shared.
Sure.
Right. So when people are stuck on the idea of, like, who said that in particular, honestly, I don't think it matters when you see the overall picture of how this was. This was such a high-level operation from start to finish, and it's continuing to happen. It's just that now everyone's seeing through all the crap. So I can understand, like, people, especially people who have been indoctrinated in this, feeling like this is treason. This is against the country.
Right.
It's not against the country. It's against the people who were directly coming after them for absolutely no reason at all, other than the fact that she was a black woman, other than the fact that Harry got to see from the outside what he was being manipulated from the inside. And had they given that boy just a little bit of therapy when his mother passed away,
or some help,
then perhaps he wouldn't be having the mental health issues to even have to leave the kingdom to begin with. But all of this, it was a conspiracy.
On that note, we're going to leave it there. Coming up on DBL, our interview with comedian and self-proclaimed Bravo-holic Heather McDonald. What does she think about the latest housewife drama? Plus, the A-list stars came out for the big premiere of Babylon. What does Brad Pitt have to say about all the nudity on set?
It's a cool dress.
It is.
It's happy holiday season time.
From our DBL family to yours, we want to wish you
a happy holiday season.
A happy holiday season.
Probably not that,
We have a clip.
Hey, just show us.
Okay. It did very well, though.
We set up a very nice set in the house.
It's gorgeous.
We couldn't get
And
the
just,
video
when we do the podcast, she puts on the fireplace and it roars and we look like really like royalty a little bit, like by the fire.
Yeah,
but
it's the problem is it's super hot.
Very hot. It's incredibly warm.
By the
so
end
we're
of the
just like
podcast-
dripping.
put on the fake fireplace
No, we
on
did.
streaming.
Oh no, that would have been
real
better.
fireplace.
And we're both like Harry and Meghan.
Did I? I don't know if you guys have ever played around in a Tesla, but when you turn on the fireplace,
Oh, that's cute.
the
Wild Margot
car gets
Robbie,
warm.
Does it
Isn't that
really?
cool?
That is
Did I ever tell you
fantastic.
about that time I rented a Tesla one time from Avis? Shout out.
Shouts out Avis.
Yeah, I love it.
Way to go, Hertz.
And there was a huge line behind me because there had been a bunch of delayed flights. And I just talked to people, and so me and this guy connected. And he was like, I just got a Tesla a couple weeks ago. I'm going to show you. And we left this line. He was the only person working. And he's showing me like there's like whoopee cushions under the seats, and he's like pushing buttons and like, look, you can do it.
Those poor people.
And people, I'm just like looking back in the line, like we're in the, it's like I felt so bad. He was like, and here's something you can make the music play from the outside of the car. I'm like, this is cool. Go in.
Maybe not shout out to Avis.
It was the best customer service I ever had.
That's amazing.
So,
They
gold
even
star
have a
rating from me.
sign that says the dog is fine, the AC is on. So that if you see a dog in a Tesla with the windows up, the computer screen has a pet. Don't worry, don't call the police. The AC is on, the dog's okay.
That's.
Do you see what I'm saying?
That's cool. Yeah, I mean Tesla's.
Is everyone getting what I'm saying?
Yeah, we got it.
People seeing that.
Because it's a big screen, like a big reflection.
Yeah. They have this thing called Sentinel mode where like it just like the car locks off and like it talks to people around. It's
Okay.
Like, it's like.
Okay, we're in the matrix.
It's like.
You know, when I first moved to LA, you know what the signs on all the doors read? No actors or dogs allowed. I changed that.
Welcome back to DBL. That was a clip from the movie Babylon, and last night all the stars showed up for the premiere. The little black dress was the fashion hit of the night. Check out Margot Robbie's version of the dress, and look at Olivia Wilde, who wore black with sheer.
I love that.
Meanwhile, Elle Fanning wore a very classic black floor-length dress.
Whoa.
Brad Pitt also did a classic black suit.
Was this like a
without
memo?
the tie. Well, Kelly Rowland is the memo because she didn't take the memo, and she wore a red number. Check out this amazing thing. She killed that. Okay, so the movie follows the rise and fall of multiple characters during Hollywood's transition from silent to sound film in the late 1920s. And it has some scenes that even shocked Brad Pitt. Here's what he had to say.
Man, this party scene went on for 2 weeks, and like the first day was a bit shocking. Like even for me, wow, we're doing this. We're really doing this. A lot of nudity. And then kind of day 3 was like, yeah, a lot of nudity. And then 2 weeks into it was just like another day at the office.
Okay, so who
Where
wants
do
to
you
start?
work?
Where are
This
you?
has been my last day at DBL. It's been a pleasure.
God, that was so funny. To hear Brad Pitt be like, say the words, a lot of nudity, I'm really looking forward to the film. Really?
I want to be clear, as the soundbite was playing, both of y'all were like, ooh, or maybe you and Kelly, ooh, ooh. I'm like, okay, all
That
right.
man, he is like, some people have Paul Newman, some people have Sinatra. Like, to me, he is the
Cream of the
golden
crop.
boy. He's a movie star.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tori, really, I love your passion. It's so interesting. I feel like Jennifer Aniston made those comments a little while ago, like there's no stars left, and the old school Hollywood is kind of gone. If you look at these movies that are kind of coming back, all these stars are kind of going back and recreating that era. Whether it was Once Upon a Time in
Hollywood, I thought about that.
Hollywood and Babylon, like that time where like there were, even if you think about just the 80s, there was like 82 people that were famous. Like there weren't that many stars. Now it's TikTok stars and YouTube, but it used to be a period where there were just like a handful of people that were super famous and kind of just did whatever they want. And I think this film's going to talk about that.
And Brad Pitt's so good in that role in that time
He was
period.
great
For
in
some
that
reason,
movie.
he just fits.
All right, but get to the point. Are naked bodies getting y'all to the theater or to watch the movie? Yes or no, Al?
Tori, we got one ticket sold over here. Yeah.
No.
You don't want to see these naked
It's not
bodies.
that. It's not my motive for wanting to see a movie. I also spent 5 years as a fitness competitor, so I'm used to seeing
Naked bodies.
very scantily clad people.
Those are select naked bodies, though. Like those are
But
those
you
are
get used to it.
incredibly
Like
good.
my friend works in fashion, and she always says, like, I don't care about seeing naked bodies. She gets people dressed like 3 times a week.
Right.
Like you have to hurry up.
When you
Just
watch
come
people
on.
backstage at like a theater or something,
Yeah.
like no one cares anymore.
Zero.
So yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So what is the thing that gets you there? So it's superstar or
It's-
not nakedness?
it's-
Well, naked for Tori.
Right, but again, when I go to a movie, I want to see a movie with a capital M. Like, I don't want to see a film that I could watch at home. I want to see a movie. And for me, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, old school, all these people, that to me is a movie I'm going to get my butt to see because it's an experience.
And for me, it's Avatar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it should be.
What a waste.
Don't run from your avatar.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you go to the movies for. You want that whole experience.
Thank you. Coming up on DBL, we talk with the hilarious Heather McDonald. She's giving us the latest scoop on her popular podcast.
More than 100,000 people have seen this video of TikTok user Sarah discovering just how much caffeine there is in one of these Panera Bread Company drinks.
Mango yuzu citrus charged lemonade. Woo, this is gonna be a whirlwind.
And much of the buzz is actually concern about this much buzz. So let's verify. Is too much caffeine dangerous?
We learned the answer from several sources, and we checked Panera's website, where we see a regular 20-ounce mango yuzu citrus charged lemonade has 260 milligrams of caffeine.
Look what you're doing!
The FDA, the American Academy of Pediatrics, and Dr. Alan Taylor all say yes, too much caffeine can be dangerous.
It is a stimulant. It increases blood pressure. It increases the rate at which the heart contracts.
But how much caffeine is too much caffeine isn't so clear. The FDA says, in general, adults can have up to 400 milligrams of caffeine over the course of a day. That's 4 or 5 cups of coffee before feeling the negative impacts. But that can vary based on age, body type, or other medications or medical conditions, the time over which the caffeine is consumed, and how much someone is used to drinking.
There is tolerance to these stimulants that develops.
The American Academy of Pediatrics mostly recommends against caffeine for kids and teens.
But even an average healthy adult feeling any of these symptoms,
insomnia, jitters, anxiety, a rapid heart rate, stomach issues, headache, even dysphoria, a feeling of unhappiness.
You can actually get caffeine toxicity.
Might want to switch to water for a bit. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back. She's a comedy writer for stars like Chelsea Handler, but she's also a major Bravo-holic and stand-up comic. Earlier, we caught up with Heather McDonald for some juicy scoop and to see what she's been up to lately. Chelsea lately. Take a look.
Heather! Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, you look beautiful, and before we get started, I just wanted to say, although we are excited for some juicy scoops, definitely, I really wanted you to share with us, if you could, about that scary hotel experience, and it really inspired you to warn other women traveling alone, which I really thank you for. Can you tell us just what happened real quick?
Yeah, so I was at a hotel on the road, and it was the afternoon, and my producer, who's a young female, she had just left the room. So normally I always double lock the door, but it was in the afternoon and she had just left. And a couple minutes later, there was like a knock on the door, and before I opened it, I was like, yes. And it was a man, and he said, oh, I have to come in and fix something. And I'm like, no, I never ordered anything. And then it was like, he's like, no, I have stuff to drop off for housekeeping. And I'm like, no, I don't need anything. I just checked in like an hour ago. And so then I looked, and I could see that he walked away, and he didn't have a housekeeping card. Wow. And he was wearing regular clothes. So then I thought about it. I'm like, I'm just going to tell this story right now on TikTok right now to warn people not to open the door, to tell them to leave things by the door if they need it, if you're alone. And the response I got, it went viral. But what women do on the road, they had people say, I leave the TV on. I say, goodbye, honey. I pretend that I'm traveling with a man.
Thank you for sharing that story. I heard about it on my own. Yeah.
So Heather, let's get to your podcast, Juicy Scoop. It launched 7 years ago. So what's so juicy about your podcast, Juicy Scoop?
You want to say it again?
Juicy Scoop. It was a term I used for a long time, and I've always loved pop culture, but I also really like to go deep into whatever I think is juicy, whether it's a crime, something that's happening in the reality world of TV, celebrities, and then go deeper and be like, what was the layers to this? How does it relate to just someone at home listening to the normal life, you know, that their relationship could even have elements that are similar to a Harry and Meghan, you know, with a half sister or not inviting someone to the wedding. So I always feel like you can take anything that's juicy in the headlines and kind of go deeper. And that's why I think people love the podcast.
Well, I've listened to Juicy Scoop. I'm actually subscribed to Juicy
Hello.
Scoop. Yes, absolutely. If you went on a girls' trip, Lord, which two housewives would you pick to join you, and where would you go?
Ooh, that's good.
Well, I'll always pick someplace warm over like a skiing situation because nothing better than just like walking in Mexico. And I like a beautiful resort, and I was thinking about it, and definitely Kathy Hilton, because I've only met her a couple times, and I really feel like we don't know enough about her. But I think on a girls' trip, a few days with me, I would get the real juicy scoop about her life, her childhood, Kyle, her sister, Paris, everything. Did she do the lipstick thing on purpose to draw attention from Mariska? Like, what is the scoop there? And then I definitely would take Garcelle, because Garcelle and Kathy get along. I've worked with Garcelle, and I just think she's so laid back and chill, and she does say it like it is. And I just like her expressions, and you just know what she's thinking when she's just like, you know, annoyed with people. So those two, I think, would be a really fun time.
What do you make of the New York cast being canceled and replaced?
I was not happy about it. I thought we were going to have both of them, so hopefully the legacy will come back. But I guess Ramona said that she's definitely not coming back, and the only reason I'm sad about that is because Ramona is my easiest character to do do an impersonation. Well, if she was here, she'd be like, you know what, I'm really glad you asked me about that, okay, because it's really upsetting. I was one of the first housewives. I support women. A lot of people doesn't, you know. Bethany doesn't support women. A lot of people don't support women. I've always been there. I'm always ready to have some good time with some hot guys. So I'm sad about Ramona.
That was so good. Heather, I want Tori to quickly do her Jennifer Coolidge for you. Hi there, Heather.
Well, I love Jennifer. I know her personally. I just talked to her on the phone on Saturday.
Don't mention this, please.
Yes. And I was like, and she's like, and she's a juicy scooper, and she's like, you know what, Heather, you just tell it like it is. You don't care.
Say it.
You know? Just say it. Yeah.
Oh
and I go, how do you feel that you're an icon now? And she goes, I mean, what does that even mean?
Thank you for joining us. DBL Nation, subscribe to Juicy Scoop.
In a recent speech, President Biden claimed inflation is finally stabilizing.
For the last several months, wages have gone up more than prices have gone up.
The claim received a lot of skepticism, so let's verify. For the last several months, have wages gone up more than prices? Our sources are the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Federal Reserve. Wages and prices, both pretty broad concepts, so exactly what you make and what you pay can vary a lot from person to person. But the Bureau of Labor Statistics does have a way to keep track of the overall trends. First, they survey hundreds of thousands of payrolls every month, from which they calculate the average hourly earnings of all private sector employees. Second, they measure inflation through the Consumer Price Index, which tracks the prices of a bunch of commonly bought goods, showing whether a basket of those same goods is getting cheaper or more expensive. Once they have those two stats, they can measure whether wages are keeping up with inflation through a metric called real earnings. All you have to do is take that month's percent increase in earnings and subtract the percent increase in CPI to account for inflation. If the result is a positive number, that means wages are growing faster than inflation. A negative number means inflation is outpacing wage growth. The latest report shows a positive number in November. There were also positive numbers in July and August. September and October were actually net zero, suggesting wages and inflation grew at the exact same pace in those months. And before July, the numbers were consistently negative. That means for the first half of 2022, prices were growing faster than wages. But in the second half, wages have begun to outpace prices. So yes, over the last several months, wages have gone up more than prices. Biden, in his speech, acknowledged inflation nonetheless remains high, saying there's more work to be done to get those prices back down. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
It's this social media post that's warning pet owners about the dangers of snow globes. This post claims that some snow globes are actually filled with antifreeze. If the snow globe breaks and your dog or cat licks up the spill, it can be deadly. So the question, can snow globes poison your pet? Let's verify. Our source is Dr. Fred Winninger, animal neurologist for Care in Charlotte, the Northern New England Poison Center, and the ASPCA. First, let's take a look at what's actually in a snow globe. According to the Northern New England Poison Center, many snow globes contain ethylene glycol, the same chemical used in antifreeze. This is to prevent the liquid inside from freezing during shipping. Poison Control says even a small amount can be deadly. The chemical affects your blood chemistry, nervous system, and kidneys. For pets, it's even more alluring and dangerous. Dr. Fred Winninger says if a snow globe falls and breaks, mop it up immediately because antifreeze is a kidney toxin for your pets. The ASPCA says antifreeze has a sweet smell, so it's tempting for animals to lap up the liquid. So we can verify that yes, snow globes can be poisonous for your pets because many contain antifreeze. If a child swallows antifreeze, make sure to call Poison Control right away. And if a pet gets into it, you can call the Animal Poison Control Helpline. We will have both those numbers linked to this web story at WCNC.com. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Welcome back. We all know that yoga is great for flexibility, but did you know it can actually help you live longer? It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. First, a recent study reveals adding just 15 minutes of yoga to your regular exercise routine can reduce your risk of heart disease. Next, yoga can lower your blood pressure and resting heart rate. And finally, yoga can even improve your mental health.
Yes.
Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, including Tori. Supported by 30 years of clinical research, Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 1-800-813-6801 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information. Tori?
Yes.
Take it away.
We're going to show you guys
yoga moves that are top
really
tier.
Good yoga moves. First of all, look at this cool floor dance. Okay. This is a really powerful one. This one is facing forward. This is perpendicular.
Can we have some names to this?
This is Warrior 2. And what I want you to do is look over your right shoulder.
Isn't that Warrior 1?
I wouldn't let Tori be my yoga teacher.
This is Warrior 1. This is Warrior 2. Now look, when you look, I want you to look like you are taking over. Stretch, stretch, win.
Hit that Warrior 3.
This is just
Warrior 3.
crazy shot.
Reverse Warrior.
Now,
Reverse Warrior.
Tori's going to do an Instagram live yoga. Tell me if it helps you get better shape or health or mental health.
Okay. That was really good. I'm gonna go to
Good job, you guys.
Good job.